Everybody jumping up.
So, okay. It is almost 4.
There you go.
It is now 4 o'clock. We're going to call the meeting of December 28th, 2022 to order. They're going to be the last meeting of 2022. So, if we have a roll call vote, please.
Vincent Cutterford,
Here.
Joseph Seibert,
Here.
Teresa DeAndrea, Jeffrey Miller,
Yes.
Norman Ritchie,
Here.
Joseph Thomas,
Here.
and Paul Hadzik.
Here, if we want to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Sorry, Seth, that you sat down right away. I was going to tell you, Miles, just stay up there. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I went to move it, that's why I waited.
Okay, we have to approve the minutes of the regular meeting from November 22nd. I need a motion to approve those minutes. You all have a chance to read over them.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, Vincent Cutterford made the motion. And seconded by Jeff Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Minutes are approved. And you all had a chance to take a look at the treasurer's report. So we need a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll second it.
The motion's been made by Joe Thomas and seconded by Joe Seibert. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And now the approval of the bills. I'm sure you all had a chance to take a look at them. Any questions or opposition to anything? If
I'll make
not-
a motion to approve the bills.
Okay, Joe Seibert, Councilman Seibert made a motion to approve the bills. Do we hear a second?
Second.
And seconded by Norman Ritchie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. So the bills are approved. Eh, What's that?
How much? Hang on.
$220,529.
Very good. Anything else you need? No. All right, any other items of concern, council? Go ahead.
Yeah, I got one. I was down at TJ selling tickets for the hill climbing. Somebody came up to me and they asked me once before about our flags, American flags. They don't like the flags we put on the poles. They want the ones that come out on a pole and flap and everything. And so I told them I would bring it up.
What?
The flags on our poles,
Yeah.
our utility poles.
Oh,
They,
Oh, the banners.
the
yeah,
banner.
the flag
We can't have them
banners.
flapping.
Yeah, well, that's what no, the American flags now. Because
Yeah,
we have the ones that come off, and they
Right.
wanted to kind of flap, like, they went through the hill climb, they like the way we
Oh,
put them up.
yeah.
And I told them, I said I would mention, I said, but I doubt.
No, we
Yeah.
we had them at one time, and they would wrap around the wires, or they would fall off, or
And they don't last as long either.
No, they were a real problem.
I told him, I said, and then he thought I was just giving him excuses because I mentioned some of that.
Right.
Well, we could still look.
I said, we don't even get 6 months out of them down there.
Right.
So, okay, I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, they shred quickly.
All right.
Anybody else with any items? All right, then we'll move on to the business. And the first thing on the online is the vote on the resolution for non-uniform contribution for 2023. So we'd have to make a motion to approve that. Anybody have any questions about it? I did hear Vinny ask some questions about it.
I'll explain it.
Okay.
Yep.
So we need a motion to approve the resolution.
I make a motion that we accept the resolution for the non-uniform contribution for 2023.
Motion made by Councilman Seibert. Any second?
I'll second.
Who was first? But Vincent Cutterford will take the second on that one. Right. I'm just judging, that's all. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Same question, how much?
No, it's non-contribution. Our actuarial services says the pension plan, they don't have to make any contribution to it.
This is zero in this.
Correct.
They're fully funded.
Yes.
Is that the same in the next one?
Yes.
And number two, thanks for leading me off there, Seth. We need to vote on the resolution for the police pension contribution for 2023.
I'll make the motion that we approve the resolution for the police contribution for
A
pension.
Motion's been made by Joe Thomas. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Norm Ritchie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The resolution for the police pension fund contribution for 2023 is ready to go. Number three, we have the 2023 tax resolution. And Harold, do you want to explain anything there, or?
Well, these are the basic taxes that the borough levies, and we have the tax rate of 6.3 mils, which hasn't gone up in approximately 8 or 9 years. A continuation of the real estate transfer tax of 1% and 1/2 of 1% effective rate. The reenactment of the per capita tax, imposing a per capita of $5 on each and every resident and inhabitant of the borough over 18 years of age. An enactment of the earned income tax, imposing a tax of 1%, 1/2 of 1% effective rate on salaries. And also the reenactment of the local services tax, providing for assessment and levy collection for fire, police, and emergency services, road construction and/or maintenance, and reduction of property tax in the amount of $52.
Do we hear a motion to approve that?
Make a motion to approve the 2023 tax resolution.
I'll second it.
Okay, made by Councilman Ritchie and seconded by Joe Seibert. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Ayes have it. 2023 tax resolution will be signed. Next, I guess the big item is to approve the 2023 budget. And that budget has no tax increase in it.
I make a motion to approve the 2023 budget as presented.
Motion's been made by Councilman Thomas. Do we hear a second?
I'll second it.
We'll give that one to Joe, Councilman Seibert for the second. All right, could I have a roll call vote on that?
Vincent Cutterford,
Yes.
Joseph Thomas,
Yes.
Norman Ritchie,
Yes.
Jeffrey Miller,
Yes.
Joseph Seibert,
Yes.
and Paul Hadzik.
Yes.
What's our total on that one?
$6,384,567.
Great that you got no new taxes, I appreciate it.
It was chump change. All right, the next thing we're going to look at is the Dominic D. Francisco request for vacation of roads. And does everybody understand what that's about? It's over in Frenchtown, I guess?
Yeah, Jim, would you?
I was going to wait till to see if there's any questions.
Well, yeah.
I'm sure there are.
Okay, so,
I understand it because I talked to Harold about it.
okay, good.
So don't look
Because
at
I talked to you.
Don't look at me.
Okay. So this gentleman, I can't remember if he bought or is buying some lots in the borough, and Harold has attached a map of what he's looking to buy. The access to those lots are across some paper streets of the borough. That is, they're laid out on the town plan, but they were never opened up. At one point, back in October, he had contacted Harold and said, I'm going to be crossing over this property. I want to make sure that there'll be no problems, that we're not going to interfere. And Harold said to me, I said, well, okay. I said, well, we're not going to interfere with it. But he said, I want to make sure the police aren't called out. And he said, well, if a neighbor calls and complains, we will respond. But we don't have any reason to stop you on our side. But if someone calls the police, we'll come out, and it's probably a private issue. So let that go. Then the next thing he said was he'd like us to vacate these roads. And I said to Harold, well, put it on the agenda, because now you have a request from someone who's a property owner who wishes you to vacate roads. We have vacated roads in the past. It's probably been a while, but I know if Teresa was here, I'd be looking to her, because I think we vacated roads next to her at one point,
Correct.
leading to Urena Park, and some other people along there. And the idea is It is a road that exists on paper. We, the borough, have never improved it, never made any improvements to it. There's no utility lines. It serves no purpose to us. If we wish to vacate it, we would need to go through a process whereby we'd have anybody who's affected. It may be more than just this Dominic Francisco. I don't know if it is, but it may be more than him. But they'd have to present a petition to us that says that they are releasing us from any damages, because in a road vacation, if we would do it on our own and not get that release, any person affected could come back after the borough and say, you owe us money because now you've devalued my property. So we want a petition from them. If we get a petition from all affected property owners, then we would draft an ordinance and adopt an ordinance vacating the road. So the question is, do you want to go through that process? I said to Harold, it's completely up to council whether or not you want to or not. If you want to, I think at least in the past, we had the people pay at least some of the expenses for it because there's advertising expenses in an ordinance.
Right.
And even though it's not real expensive, it still costs the borough something. And it really doesn't help us at all, it just helps that person.
The question is, I've seen the progress up there, and I'm kind of confused a little bit. He's had some heavy equipment up there, timbering, taking out a lot of trees and timbering. What are their ultimate plans?
They're gonna build a house.
They're gonna build.
Now, they would also be on, they'd have to do their own well and septic. We'd have to provide, not the electric to them, but well and septic, it's too far away. It's over the 200-foot limit.
Mm-hmm.
And even if we did, they'd have to have a grinder pump put in to pump it to our sewer line.
Mm-hmm.
So they're better off with a well and septic on those properties.
Where is it, what streets?
It's actually behind 7th Street. Breeze's property.
This is technically 8th Street or what?
Very,
It's
kind of, sorta, yeah,
I've seen
technically,
it on an old map.
right,
it's technically a dirt road.
yeah.
Basically at the very end of town.
It is technically 8th Street.
Well, better him up there, the bears get to him first before they get to my house, I'll tell you that.
Good point, Seth. Any other questions?
We don't get any liquid fuels tax for that?
No,
No.
no.
I think
The only place you can get liquid fuels is on ordained roads that are established roads and ordained by the borough.
Just an estimated cost for permits and advertisements and such. What would we be talking?
a
Dollar-wise?
couple hundred, I think.
Probably less than $500.
I would suggest they pay
Well, that's,
all the fees.
That's where I was.
I think that's what you were talking about.
Right.
Harold.
Really, it doesn't affect us either way, other than a little bit of money, right? I mean,
Correct.
Right,
Yeah.
We have no
We're not-
intentions
no.
to ever.
No, but once they put their electric meter on the house, that's going to look nice on our receivables. So, plus tax money. That helps the school and us.
What about sewage? We're that distance
Well-
from the,
They're too far away,
so the
well and septic.
well and septic.
Right.
Yeah, is there any expense from the borough for the septic? I mean, it's gonna be independent, but do we have to provide any?
No,
No.
our SEO will take care of all of that, and he bills them directly.
So basically, you're looking for a motion to include the expenses for advertising and other hidden fees of such.
I would think the motion would be to let them know that we are willing to vacate the road, provided they pay all expenses that are incurred by the borough.
I'll second that.
He can't
Oh,
make a motion.
Yeah.
That's like you taking over the meeting last month.
Joe, it's like what he said.
What he said is,
And then Vince, go ahead.
Yeah. Were you talking into the mic? Because-
I don't know. You got that? I was kind of
Now,
laid back.
here, Lori,
Lori, did you get it?
Yes and no. I have the gist of it, but I can
Okay,
later.
I have it.
We have it on the recording.
Yeah, well, it's recorded, but he leaned back right away to take himself off the
That was
hook.
relaxing.
I know.
Well, then, based on the motion of what he said,
Yes.
I'll make the motion to accept what he said.
And do we have a second?
I'll second.
And Councilman Seibert will second it, and the second is the same as what Joe said and what the solicitor said. Okay. All those in favor say aye. Anybody opposed?
I would never be able to duplicate that.
Okay, so you'll move forward on that?
I will contact.
Okay. And the last thing on the list here is the tax anticipation RFP
Oh,
result.
No, you skipped
Skip one.
number 6.
6.
Oh, yeah, you know why? I didn't know if I could pronounce that name. We're looking for the, to approve the representation agreement with Salzman Hughes
PC.
PC. I read that. But, does everybody understand what that is?
No, the newspaper does not.
Well, Harold, will you explain that? We're selling power out of the
Okay,
area.
so there are people that on Fritz Lane, which is turn 2, on the Fritz Lane is the borderline between Lehigh Township and us.
I know the house.
Okay, well, it's not a house, it's a vacant lot. People had gone to PP&L and requested power. PP&L had come back and said, no, we cannot reach you. So they had sent us a letter saying that PP&L, we relinquish our right to service these people, you can service them. Well, that's not good enough. After talking to Norm Barron, our electrical engineer, and Jim, that would still put us out of the borough. So I contacted the PMEA, Pennsylvania Municipal Electric Association, and they put me on to this attorney, and I spoke to him in regards to this as getting a PUC clearance to do this. He had indicated, yes, it's something they do all the time. I had gone back to the homeowners and said, look, we have no problem with this, only you're going to have to pick up the bill for it. So they had given us, we have an agreement between the homeowners and us in regards to the money that we received, the deposit, which was $5,000 to pay these attorney fees. Now what we're asking here is council to approve our agreement with the borough and this attorney, to proceed with the PUC clearance.
He sent an engagement letter. We have to authorize, whether it's the mayor or the borough manager, to sign the engagement letter.
The borough manager.
No, you.
So does everybody understand that? What we're doing? We're actually just moving out of our territory with the electric.
Legally.
Legally.
Yeah, so we don't subject ourselves to PUC regulation.
Right.
Would we have to run power up there once this is all okayed?
Well, there's power already there. We just have to run a few more poles, which they will pay for.
Okay.
And they put a deposit down, did you mention that? Or?
Yes, we have a $5,000 money in escrow to pay these attorney bills.
So
It's costing the borough nothing.
Right, exactly.
the motion would be to authorize the borough manager to sign the Salzman Hughes engagement letter of October 7, 2022.
It would be the mayor. He's listed on here.
Well, he just volunteered you. I don't care who signed it.
I mean, I'll sign it in pencil.
Well, I didn't make the motion. I just suggested a motion.
So, Joe, you want to do what he's...
No, I'll stay away from it. No, I'll just say the way he presented it.
You're authorizing either the borough manager or the mayor to sign the engagement letter with Salzman Hughes.
Oh,
I'm already
you
on
authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
Yeah. In the back of your next paycheck. So, do we have a motion to authorize me to sign this representation agreement?
I make a motion that the mayor or the borough manager signs a representation agreement with Salzman Hughes.
Do we hear a second?
I'll second it.
It was made by Norm Ritchie and seconded by Joe Seibert. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And now the last thing on there is the tax anticipation or RFP results. Harold, do you want to explain that? You added that on later?
Yeah, well, I added, yes, I added the resolution on.
Right.
As you see in the narrative, I had sent letters to 3 banks, Mock Chunk Trust, Neffs, and Jim Thorpe Neighborhood Bank. And the results, Mock Chunk Trust was 4.5, Jim Thorpe Neighborhood Bank was 5.99, and Neffs was 5.29. So naturally, we would look at the lowest rate, which is 4.5 on Mock Chunk Trust. And then we had the resolution approving this, correct, Jim?
It's a resolution authorizing the approval of this. We wouldn't close it until sometime in
January.
January, but it's authorized, it's a resolution authorizing us to borrow this money and have the borough manager or mayor sign all appropriate documents.
The amount of,
90,000.
thank you.
But we didn't have one last year.
No, we had one in 2020.
Right.
One 2020.
So we just need a motion to authorize a resolution for the tax anticipation.
Correct. Yes.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Vincent Cutterford made the motion, and do we have a second?
I'll second it.
And a seconded by Councilman Seibert. And a roll call vote on that, since we're going to be borrowing some money. Please.
Yes. Jeffrey Miller,
Yes.
Norman Ritchie,
Yes.
Joseph Thomas,
Yes.
Vincent Cutterford,
Yes.
Joseph Seibert,
Yes.
and Paul Hadzik.
Yes. Now, should I mention something about what we're working on with down at the railroad?
Not yet.
Just because some people are starting to ask about the traffic on the Eagle Street.
Oh, you can.
Okay,
just
well,
don't have
I'll
it.
just do it real quick.
Yeah, we don't have a solid deal yet.
No, we worked out a deal or some sort of a negotiation with the railroad where the rails, the trails was going to cross the creek, cross the state highway, and then cross the state highway again, and send people down the Eagle Street. Well, Harold and I were discussing that, and we felt we would get a lot of complaints out of the 12 homes that are down on Eagle Street with people walking up and down in front of their house all the time. So we talked to the railroad, and it took a few months.
The mayor spoke to the railroad numerous times. It took a couple
I
months.
didn't make any threats, but Harold made an offer, and then they came back with a counter offer, which was a lot cheaper than what they originally wanted, a lot cheaper, and that will eliminate that problem of because I quite frankly don't think the PennDOT was going to authorize us to cross that highway with the bridge. I mean, I went through that with them before with the old bridge that we said, well, let's fix it if we could use it. They said you can't use it.
And then crossing it twice?
Yes. So that looks like that maybe, it's not an agreement yet. Hopefully maybe by next meeting we may have something, but it eliminated a big headache.
Good job on your efforts.
And
Very good.
I mean,
The mayor-
they don't really care too much for me now, the railroad, so I'll never ride one. But anyway, Norm, it's your turn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Do I hear a second?
Second. I mean,
So
almost, yeah.
motion to adjourn is made by Norm Ritchie, seconded by Joe Seibert. All those in favor say aye. Anybody opposed? Ayes have it. We are adjourned.